What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Matt Loopy. Today, we're going to be talking about how you should be giving yourself a little bit more credit. So, if you're new here, we have two formats for the show. Today is Monday. We call this Monday Momentum, and it's going to start your week on a positive note. It's an episode with just me, your host, and it's going to be anywhere from 10, 15, 20 minutes just talking about success, my perspective on success, maybe something I've learned in the past, and it's just going to get into the nitty gritty of success. And then on Wednesdays, every single Wednesday, we bring on a guest speaker that is very successful in one field or another. And we're going to talk about what they did to become successful, what they're continuing to do to stay successful, and how you can get there yourself. So make sure you check in every single Monday, every single Wednesday, and check out mattloopy.com for all of your defined success needs. And make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. For anyone watching on YouTube, or if you don't know that we're on YouTube, it's Matt Loopy Defined Success. A little bit of a new visual look to the episode today. Recently moved to Austin, Texas. Really excited about this move, living with some of my friends, but excited just to get into a new area, possibly meet some new connections, get new opportunities. So this will be the visual aspect of the podcast for the time being. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you haven't checked out the YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. So today I want to talk to you guys about really staying neutral and leaning on past successes to propel you into the future. So, first off, I want to just say that I don't think that anyone should be celebrating or down on themselves for too long. This is called the 24-hour principle. And it's the concept that if you have a success in life, you should not celebrate for more than 24 hours. You close a deal, you hit a new PR in the gym, it's good to celebrate. It's good to give yourself the credit that you deserve and that you worked so hard for. But if 24 hours pass and you're still celebrating, that is time that you are not allocating towards future work and you're getting worse as a result. On the flip, if you have a failure in life, you are in a relationship and they break up with you, you get fired from a job, you lose something. These are things that everybody will get down from. The same concept applies. You can't be down yourself for more than 24 hours because if you do, you're going to be sitting at home, sleeping in, maybe eating unhealthy foods, and you're going to get worse as a result. So, this 24-hour concept is the fact that you should be staying neutral. If you have a success, don't get too high. If you feel down, don't get too low. Stay neutral and make sure that you don't spend any more than 24 hours being too high or too low, which is going to lead us perfectly into this concept that David Goggins brings up in his book, Can't Hurt Me. It's called the cookie jar. The cookie jar is this thing that he coined where he remembers his past successes, these things that he leans on that create who Goggins is. Okay. He did 3 hell weeks in a year. He ran a 100-mile race before even running more than a marathon previously to that with broken bones, etc. All of these things that make him who he is go into the cookie jar. These are successes that you can be remembered for. These are successes that you can lean on that make you who you are and are going to provide future success in your life. Dr. Nate Zinsser says that you should create a top 10 list of the achievements in your career field. So, what this would look like is whether you're a doctor, you're a salesperson, or for me, a sports agent, looking at the top 10 things that you've achieved in your space, your career, whatever you are pursuing in life. And it can be overwhelming. You could look at yourself and think, I haven't done enough to create a top 10 list. I haven't achieved that much. I'm not that successful in your field. And to be honest, I felt the same way. I was reading his book and I got to that part and I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't think I could write down 10 things that I'm proud of that I succeeded in. But when you take the time to do it, it can be something very minor and you write down 10 things that you're proud of that you achieved previously. So for me, for those who don't know, I'm a sports agent. I work for an NFL agency. We represent NFL players, but myself, I represent 4 college student athletes. I'm 21 years old. In this space with sports agencies, it is very competitive. There's a lot of money in there. And there's a lot of the big dogs that are going to bully you out of the space or try to bully you out of the space as much as possible. It can get very, very discouraging. You might get fired, undercut, whatever. You are going to run into failures. Same thing with most career fields. So for me, there's a lot of times where I feel down about the happenings of my career. I lean back on this top 10 list. I lean back on this quote unquote cookie jar that, hey, I'm 21 years old and I'm already a sports agent. I represent four athletes that all have potential to go to the NFL. That is pretty dope. I always want to work harder. I always want to get further, recruit new clients, get more money in their pocket. But at the same time, I'm proud of where I am. I'm proud of what I've accomplished so far in the space that it drives me to go even further. You have to look at these past achievements to push you to become better and have to understand this is who I am. Sometimes you have to remember who you are as a person. Look at yourself in the mirror, repeat your name plenty of times, and think, who is Matt Lupi? Who is blank? Ask yourself that. What makes you who you are? And if you're lost, think of these things in your cookie jar that make up who you are right now as a person. You are more powerful than you can imagine. We often get so down on ourselves, and it's human nature. The unfortunate reality is that it's human nature to think less of yourself than most other people think about you. You always want to point out the weaknesses, the negatives, et cetera, et cetera. But that is such a terrible way to go through life. You have been through more than you realize. You are stronger than you can ever imagine. But you should use that to your advantage, not to tear you down. Thinking about what you've accomplished in the past will not only raise confidence, it's going to raise awareness. It's also going to bring you to future success. Thinking back to what you've done maybe a year ago, maybe a week ago, maybe it was yesterday, thinking about what you have done in the past is going to inspire you to say, I have been here before. I have been in the situation. I can not only do this, but I can go one step further. And that is the whole mantra of achieving success. We look at a lot of people in life, whether it's your favorite music artist, it's a YouTuber, it's an athlete, and everybody thinks that there is one moment that defines their success. There is one overnight sensation that propels them to fame, money, prestige, whatever. Just last night, this will be a couple nights ago when you were listening to this episode, there was a Dallas Cowboys player who I forget his name exactly. He's very new to the NFL. He returned a kickoff and a punt in the same game for a touchdown. 2 touchdowns scored on special teams. Most players that are special teams returners, they're lucky to have 1 touchdown in a year. He scored 2 in one game for a preseason game. This is someone fighting for an NFL job. This person, a lot of people will look at, they'll watch him on SportsCenter the next morning. They'll see clips of him on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, and think, wow, either he got lucky, he worked really hard this week for that game. They will discount his success and discount what he did to get to that moment where the lights are shining bright, people are cheering him on, and there's a job on the line. And he pushed through and he succeeded. What people don't see is what he did before that, the training that he went through, the times that people said no to him. Maybe he was cut from his high school football team. Maybe he didn't get into his dream college. You never know what this person went through in his life. Maybe he had a rough family growing up. You always have to lean back on these moments. Okay. Think of yourself and your success story. It's not going to happen tomorrow. That's the nature of success. It would be great if we all woke up tomorrow and we have a couple more digits in our bank account, a couple more commas. I'm sure that we would all appreciate that. A couple more followers, a couple more, whatever you want in life. But it doesn't happen that way. It is a steady growth. And the benefit of that is we're going to appreciate it so much more. But the way you appreciate it and the way that you take advantage of that is to lean on those moments in the past. I'll give you another example. Right now, I'm about 2 months away from a 50-kilometer race. That's more than a marathon. That's about 32 miles. And I'm training for this race. And I went all in. This summer, I went and made the decision that I wanted to go through this race with pretty much no training. I never ran before this training program that I'm on right now. Going back to even June, I was not running. I had surgery on my legs about 4 years ago because of an injury I had from running. Didn't really run too much since. But I made the decision that I want to go all in. I don't want to go out and do a 5K or maybe it's even a half marathon. I decided I wanted to go one more, go even further. It's a tall task. And I like this example. And I love the process of going through this because I think it relates to success so much. I see the end goal in mind. I see me having a good time, finishing top 10% of all racers in this race, going through healthy, feeling good, confident. I see that in my mind. Same thing for you. You might be starting a business right now and you're seeing yourself, you're envisioning, the money coming in to your bank account. You're seeing the clients that you are signing on to your business. You see the people you're impacting through your social media content. You see that end goal in mind, but there's so much more in between. There's so much more to get to where that end goal is that you're envisioning. Right now, I'm steady progressing. I'm adding more miles every week, more time, quicker pace every single time I'm running. Steady progression. That is what you need to get to that success. It's a steady progression. Even if you save 10 seconds on a mile pace, that's a success. That is a win. That's one step closer to being where you need to be. Each day is an internal battle with my running. I never go out and have a perfect run. There's always, whether it's a half a mile in or if it's 5 miles in, there's always one moment where I think to myself, I want to quit right now. And the most challenging thing is most of the time I'm alone and nobody would know if I stop. Nobody would know if I give up, if I walk, if I just turn around and go back to bed. Nobody would know. And most people wouldn't even check to see, hey, did you finish this today? It's up to you. That is how most goals are in life. Nobody knows what you want to achieve. It's up to you to follow through and actually achieve what you say you're going to do. So for me, these internal battles every single day. Let's say I'm 2 miles into a run and I want to hit 10 miles that day. It's going to be a long run if I have 8 miles to go and I'm already thinking about quitting. So to wrap this up, here's what I do. I reach into that cookie jar. I reach in and think to myself, last week, I just ran 10 miles and I pushed through. I can do this. And maybe if I get to 10, let's go to 10 and a half. Let's push it a little bit more. Not even 10%. Let's push 5% more just to get one little bit better. And then the next week, maybe I'm sore. Maybe I'm tired. Hey, I've been here before. I've achieved this. So not only I know that I'm made for this, I am built to get to this level. I can do a little bit more. I can have that steady progression. It's reaching into the cookie jar, man. And it's not just about what applies to that current situation. I can think about while I'm on a run, I can think about a challenge that came up when I was in school, or maybe a challenge that came up in the weight room, different things that I have pushed through before. It's all to remind yourself who you are and what you're made of, and that you are so much more than you imagine. Build that confidence, build that awareness. So when it's time to attack, you're ready to go. You're ready to go to war and you're ready to succeed and push one more than anyone else would. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I encourage you, build that cookie jar, build that top 10 list, whatever it takes to remind yourself who you are and what you're capable of. And when things get tough, just always lean on this list, lean on this jar, and you're going to push yourself more than you can ever imagine. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you check us out every single Monday, every single Wednesday. I'll catch you next time.